Okay, let's be honest. We've all had a moment when we're watching Blue Lock and we're just like, he's him. Moments like these are honestly what make Blue Lock, and why so many people, including myself, love it so much. The hype, build-up, and execution of these scenes are just perfect, and there's literally so many moments like this sprinkled throughout the whole series. So it's hard to decide, what is the most hype Blue Lock panel? I'm specifically talking about the biggest I'm him performance in Blue Lock so far. A little different, but riding the same wavelength, we're gonna be going over my personal top 10 I'm him performances in the manga so far. If you don't know what an I'm him performance is, it pretty much just means you're just that guy, you know? Barou scored a hat trick. He's him. Isagi tells someone he's gonna end his dreams, and he does. He's him. Like I said before, there are so many moments like this throughout the manga, and some really good moments are gonna have to be left out because it is a top 10. As always, there are gonna be manga spoilers for this video, as most of the panels I'm gonna be going over do cover the later arcs. And one last thing before we get into the video, thank you guys so much for the support on the last one. You guys all blew it up, and we actually reached 100 subs, so I'm super happy and thankful. I've been reading your guys' comments as well, and I appreciate every single one of them, so thank you so much for that, and you viewers as well. With that being said though, let's get straight into the list, starting with number 10. We are starting with a banger and a criminally underrated one. Aryu's block in the U20 game. I don't want to make videos and lists that are just easily predictable, and I also want to include the underrated panels, and I think Aryu's block is perfect for this list. The dialogue, the stakes, the slowdown, everything about this moment was just hype. This whole chapter was intense, so let's break down what actually happened. After being down 1 point in the first half, the U20 goes for their last full-out attack and starts with Sai passing to Sendo, which ends up getting blocked by Rin. Unluckily, Sai regained possession, and just as we think he's about to score his second goal of the game, we see one player react by reflex, and of course, it's none other than Aryu. Bro, the slowdown of the shot, the zoom into his eye, and the dialogue, and not to mention the block itself, genuinely so good. It's no doubt that Sai was gonna make that shot, Gagamaru was just a bit short, and we all know how good Sai is, so to block that shot and keep their lead was absolutely important. Imagine blocking the best player in Japan's shot, and then saying, I am shining. So much hype. Aryu was him in that moment, and he still is. Criminally underrated moment. Aryu comes in at number 10. At number 9, we got Eyelashes Jr., Rin scoring at the center line in the second selection. This isn't as hype as some of the other picks on this list, but it's a definitive I'm him moment and deserves a spot on here. Remember that this is the first goal we actually see from Rin and a first experience on how skilled he actually is. Isagi's team was compiled of probably the best players we've seen so far with Bachira and Nagi, and when they get rolled by Rin, that was just a one hell of an introduction. If this was purely based off hype, other moments like him going into the flow or defeating the U20 defense would definitely be over this one. But an introduction like this is something we just can't ignore, so Rin coming in at number 9. This may be unexpected to be so low, but at number 8, we got Isagi clowns Kaiser. I know that this is a really popular Isagi moment, probably his best moment from the Neo Egoist League, but there's genuinely just too many good Isagi moments that I had to nerf him for this list just to make it fair for others. I genuinely think this whole video could be compiled of Isagi moments, but for this one, it was either a choice between I will lead Blue Lock to victory or the clown panel. It was such a hard choice, and they're equally both as good because Isagi declares that he will lead Japan to victory by himself, but the other one is literally clowning one of the new Generation 11 and probably the best striker we've seen in Blue Lock so far, excluding the Masters. The build-up, the rivalry, everything about this moment was just perfect. Even Kaiser's response. We all know how crazy Kaiser is, and for him to call Isagi crazy, that's like, I don't even know an analogy. Analogies can't even describe this moment. In my opinion, this is the most hyped panel in the manga recently, but the reason why I put it so low is because there are so many other really good moments, and even others that I had to cut out, such as the Blue Lock to victory panel. Honestly, ranking this kind of sucks because they're all really good and so close to each other. This is just my personal opinion, and I'm not gonna lie, I spent way too much time on ranking these. Anyways though, Isagi clowning Kaiser is an iconic Isagi moment and comes in at number 8. At number 7, we got none other than Nagi scoring the first goal in the U20 game. This goal just deserves to be on this list. Everything about it just built so much hype. I personally got chills reading this, and I know everyone was jumping up in excitement reading this chapter. The build up to this goal as well might be one of the best goal buildups that we've seen in general, which is pretty crazy considering how many goals there are by Blue Lock. After being down 1-0 in the first half, we start off with Rin trying to copy Sai's shot, which barely gets blocked and falls down to Yukimiya. Yukimiya has another opportunity to score, and then Aiku quite literally flies in out of nowhere and blocks the shot midair. Atoya chases after the loose ball and goes for another final attempt at a shot, but gets face blocked by the homeless man. After 3 failed attempts, all hope seems lost, but leave it to none other than Nagi Seishiro to break this unpenetrable wall. With 2 defenders on him, Nagi uses his world-class weapon to tap lift and shoot the ball, scoring their first point against the U20. Reviewing this goal just puts a smile on my face every single time. I really wish I can experience this again for the first time. His dialogue during this is just cold as hell as well, literally introducing himself from his insane goal. With everyone in the stands cheering for Blue Lock and ending with Aiku's dialogue over Nagi sitting on the ground pumping his fist in the air, that it's just a top 10 Blue Lock moment for me. He announced to Japan that he is him. Quite literally at that. Honestly, speaking about this makes me want to put it higher on the list, but there's definitely a lot more moments we got to go over. So yeah, Nagi's goal at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we got Itoshi Sai versus Blue Lock. There's no doubt about it that Itoshi Sai 100% lived up to the hype around his character, and I think this moment absolutely confirmed it. Not only was Sai carrying the U20 against Blue Lock, he wasn't even trying, so when he actually tries for the first time and single-handedly gets past everyone in Blue Lock, it just shows how good he actually is. Isagi, Barou, Karasu, Rin, Hiyori, Aryu, and even Yukimiya, whose weapon is his ability to win 1v1s, all lost to Sai easily, who's not even breaking a sweat, by the way. After breaking everyone's formation, he then hits a perfect pass to Shido, which unfortunately gets seen by Rin, but if Rin didn't predict that, that would be game over. Shido scores a hat trick, gets Sai's number, and Blue Lock ends. Not to mention, Sai just raised the game level for the hell of it, and not even having a proper challenge for a good flow state, and his dialogue during it was just cold as hell. Alright, we're at the halfway point, and at number 5, we got Michael Kaiser's Executed. Is there really anything else I gotta say? Even if you hate Kaiser, there's no denying how hyped this goal was. There is genuinely no better way to introduce an antagonist than the executed goal. Introduction-wise, this was definitely way more hype than Rin's goal at the center line. We get to see a world-class weapon in Kaiser Impact, which was so fast that Isagi didn't even know when he shot, and then of course the goal celebration bow. That bow is, I don't even know, devious? It's definitely a top 3 goal celebration in the manga so far. Just imagine the animation and voice acting we're gonna get for this. Dude, I can't wait. The OST and everything over it, I genuinely can't wait. It's gonna be like 5 years though. I got chills when I first read this. The culmination of everyone's reaction, and also Noel Noah revealing that Kaiser Impact even has him beat. It's just absolutely crazy. He literally executed them, and I could see this panel being in the top 10 coldest moments in Blue Lock, even when it ends. We're moving on to number 4, and of course, it's none other than the king, Barou Shouei. I'm specifically talking about his U20 goal because this is such an I'm him moment that everyone in Blue Lock knows that he's him. Literally, Ego relied on him to win the match. Being down 3-2, they relied on Joker Barou to mix up the game and break down the U20's defense, which is exactly what he did. By doing plays that players wouldn't expect, like stealing the ball from your teammate or not passing, he disrupted the U20's defense and actually broke their formation, which led to his goal. When Isagi and Rin were both one step away, the only player that managed to reach that step was Barou. They executed this moment perfectly. If I could imagine a perfect Barou goal, it would literally be this. Devouring Isagi, saving Blue Lock, and the goal celebration of him jumping in the air and taking off his shirt. The hype is unreal. He's not labeled the king for nothing. I ranked this at number 4 because I think this is his best goal so far, and he's also the definition of him. But I think in terms of sheer hype, there are goals that are just a tad bit better with more stakes. Alright, the top 3. We're here, and honestly, this was one of the hardest decisions I've had to make. Every single one of these picks could be swapped around, like 3 could easily be 1 and 1 could easily be 3, and I had a hard time finding out where I wanted them to go. I probably swapped them around at least 5 times before deciding on my final top 3, so if that doesn't tell you like how easily swappable it is, I don't know what will. That being said though, my personal number 3 is Nagi's 5-shot fake volley. This is probably the best goal we've seen in Blue Lock so far. The only ones I think can come close are Shido's goals and Kaiser's goals, but we also got to keep in mind the hype, the rivalry, and the dialogue. We all already know Nagi is him. He's the lazy genius and made the list twice. His ongoing rivalry with Isagi, never being able to beat him since the first selection, and reuniting with Ryo to achieve his dream just builds up this fight so well. But his dialogue during this is just the icing on the cake. After faking out Isagi and Kaiser, who are both using Metavision by the way, He then declares that he is the best player in the world, scores, then screams, and is followed by one of the hardest goal celebrations in Blue Lock. Just reading this put a smile on my face. This is just so peak. I'm so glad I'm alive and was able to experience this. That's how good this was. If you've seen this goal, you already know how hype this is. Nagi's goal coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, we got none other than the demon, Shido Ryusei. If I had to give one definitive moment for Shido, it would definitely be his second goal in the U20, but his whole character has been him moments up until this point. So I didn't even want to play the game unless Shido was playing, and then when they were down in the first half, their game plan was to send out number 13, Shido Ryusei. Still one of the coldest moments in Blue Lock, by the way. Bicycle kicks, walkouts, literally fighting other players, but I think his second goal in the U20 game is what made him known to all of Japan. His inner monologue about his philosophy on football and how the world doesn't know him yet, followed by the same monologue tying him into achieving the flow, and then the manga spread of the shot going across the field, followed by a questionable line into him jumping up and screaming to take the lead. Oh my god, I don't even gotta say more, to be honest. This goal is just what made him known to the world and also a fan favorite amongst the community. It's the same reason why everyone was so hyped to see him in the anime. Shido is him and that's it. I don't even gotta explain this anymore. I don't even gotta explain the top 3. Everyone just knows how much hype it is. But coming in at number 1, of course, it's our boy, our MC, Blue Lock's hero, himsagi. Like I said before, there are too many moments from Isagi that I had to reduce the amount of times I put him on this list just to free up space for others, but he's obviously number 1. When choosing number 1, I decided on 3 factors, which is how iconic it is, the dialogue, and how hype it is. Of course, it had to be an I'm him moment as well, and when I said choosing the top 3 was a hard decision, this was the hard decision. We got clowning Kaiser, telling Yukimiya he's gonna end his dreams, I will carry Blue Lock to victory, but I think the one moment that is iconic, with the best dialogue and hype, it's gotta be, I'm telling you not to get in our way, you. Or I'm not gonna say it because it's YouTube, but y'all know what it is already. There's a few reasons why I chose this one over the others. In terms of pure hype, I do believe that there are some other panels that are better. However, the build-up, the backstory, everything else is just absolutely perfect. I think this is the moment that also put Blue Lock on a lot of people's radars, which it definitely did for me, and it's one of the most iconic panels from Blue Lock. So it will always stay that way as well. With Barou not complying all this time, on his high horse calling himself the king, you got our boy Isagi telling him to not get in the way of his play, using his own words against him. We've had this build-up ever since we got the matchup against Barou in his second selection, and this rivalry still lasts to this day. It's iconic, and I think this is the moment when we all realized Isagi is him. That's my top 10 I'm him moments in Blue Lock. There are so many I missed, I know. I shouldn't have made it top 10. I should have made it like top 20 because there just isn't enough spots with top 10. Maybe I'll make a part 2 because I know that there's a lot of moments I recall after scripting this video, so let me know if you guys want a part 2 of this. Anyways, if you watched to the end, thank you so much. I appreciate all the support I've been getting, and again, the last video did really well, and we're on a really fast track actually. I'm really thankful for you guys, and reading your comments makes my day, but enough of that wholesome stuff. Consider subscribing if you want to see more Blue Lock content. Honestly speaking, I have so many videos that I want to make, and I know that will be super good, but making these videos do take a while, and some of them I'm currently working on as of right now, but it just takes a lot of time. That being said though, my name's Aryu. Leave a comment on what you think is the best I'm him moment in Blue Lock, and I'll see you guys in the next one.